Hi, this is Nurse Fisher. Some of you may remember me from being the school nurse here at CIS for many years. Well, guess what? I kind of retired, and now I just fill in for the other nurses in the other buildings when they need a day off, so you might see me from time to time. I'm here today to help Nurse Harris introduce the Human Growth and Development classes to you. She's your full-time school nurse. I'm sorry I can't be with you this year, but because of COVID-19, we can't gather together, so we have to do it this way. Today you will be watching a movie about puberty. Puberty is a time in your life of rapid, dramatic periods of physical and emotional change. It is during these years that a girl becomes a teenager and a young woman. The period of change occurs from 9 to 15 years old in girls. The video will help you prepare for these changes. Some of the information shared in the video may seem kind of embarrassing, but it's very important to remember to be quiet during these parts, as some very valuable information will be shared. Some of the information shared, you will learn new words for body parts that you may not have heard before. You will see cartoon drawings of these body parts. It's important not to laugh. You may think you know everything already, but maybe somebody else in the room does not. So let's get started. Go ahead, teachers, show the movie Girl to Woman.
Okay, watch closely. Number 9, that's me, Allison Madison. Back when I was a kid. Score! I was on top of the world that day. I had my friends, Brenda and Devin, the soccer team, just about everything I could ask for. Was I worrying about growing up? That was the last thing on my mind.
Yes.
Boy, that Allison sure has some nice moves.
Yeah, it's too bad she doesn't have a few nice curves.
All of a sudden,
Good play,
being good at
Allison.
soccer wasn't good enough anymore.
Yeah, like that.
Keep your mind on soccer, will ya?
Oh, what's the matter? Are you jealous? Oh, come on.
Everything in my world was about to change, and so was I.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joan Anzia, and I'm happy to introduce this video program because I've been working with kids your age and older for a long time. On top of that, I'm lucky to have 3 daughters who are smart, talented, and wonderful, just like each one of you. So as a woman, and as a counselor, and as a mom, I know what you're going through at this point in your life, and how important it is for you to understand that it's all perfectly normal. Right now, you're entering puberty. Maybe you've heard the word before and already know what it means. It's the time in your life when you go from being a girl to being a woman. Trust me, it won't happen overnight, and you'll develop at your own pace. This video explains most of the things you're going to experience. There's a lot of useful information that should answer most of your questions. But if you don't get the answers you need, go to somebody who can help, like your mom or your dad or your family doctor or a counselor at school. By the way, the program covers some pretty personal stuff, so don't feel nervous or uncomfortable. There's nothing weird about any of it. It's all just part of growing up.
No, not tomorrow. Because it's a school night, Michael, that's why.
I'm telling you, you're gonna love this movie. How about Saturday?
Okay, maybe Saturday. That's if I can finish my paper before then.
All right, we'll talk about it at school.
All right, thanks for calling. I'll see you tomorrow. Hi, my name is Jaira, and I'm a junior in high school. And I've got to tell you, things are going okay right now. I've been able to keep my grades up, and let me tell you, in high school, that takes a lot of work. I also made varsity volleyball this year, and I might have a date with Michael this weekend. It wasn't always like this. Getting through junior high and even the first couple of years of high school can be pretty rough. You're worried about your period, acne, and what boys think of you. Let's face it, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it all seems to happen at once. Everybody feels kind of awkward when they're your age. I sure did. So don't worry about it. You're going to get through the next few years just fine. The rest of this video is about a girl named Allison and how she learns about the changes that all of us go through. And you know what? I'll bet she's not much different from you right now, or from me a few years ago. You'll see what I mean.
There's a new face in the mirror, someone I've never seen. Not a girl, not a woman, but something in between.
What about you? And then the sales lady told my mother she'd better buy me a B-cup. She said, your daughter ought to be a model. Oh, come on. Yeah, she said she's going to break a lot of hearts real soon. Allison, try some more lipstick. It'll make you look more mature. Cool! I wish I had an outfit like that. That would look great on me. Oh, look, chocolate.
I never worried much about how I looked before, but all of a sudden I began comparing myself to everyone else. Maybe I wouldn't have worried so much if someone had just told me that it was normal for kids to develop at different rates. See, until puberty, about 10 or 12 years old, most kids are about the same size. But then everything speeds up. Girls usually hit their growth spurts a year or two before boys, which doesn't make the boys too happy. But take me and my friends. We were all the same age, but what a difference.
Wow, 3 inches in 1 year. That's me, the human bean pole. All pole and no beans.
Okay, Allison, you're next. Oh, it looks like you won't be needing a new uniform this year.
Come on.
Sure, we all laughed about it,
Sorry.
but it didn't seem funny to me. In a few years, things did even out a bit, and the difference didn't matter as much. They really mattered then, especially when it came to boys.
Devin.
He wants you to help him study. You guys cut it out.
Devin, did you really get an A- on that test?
Boys. My opinion of them was definitely changing. I mean, up until that year, my friends and I had decided they were all pretty gross.
Okay, I'll help you in science if you proof my English paper.
Sounds like a deal to me.
Let's make a deal! Let's make a deal. Stop! Do you want to make a deal? Make a deal. Stop. Sounds like a deal to me. Your hamster guy.
Boys were looking, well, different to me now.
Don't you remember soccer practice today? They're taking team pictures? No! Game all day? What's your problem? How can you miss it? it. Aren't you supposed to use some special zit soap or something to take care of that? That stuff just doesn't work. I can't have my picture taken, not without a mask.
Poor Devin. She was really sensitive about her acne. What Devin didn't know is that when a girl reaches puberty, her skin produces more oil than ever before. The oil flows out of the hair follicles, the channels from which the hairs grow, and out onto the skin's surface. Sometimes these openings get blocked, and that can cause a blackhead. If the follicle breaks underneath the clog, a small infection may start. Multiply that a few times, and you've got a case of acne. I was pretty lucky. All I needed to keep my skin clean and my pores clear was to wash 3 times a day with a mild soap and water. For a while, Devin tried a medicated soap she got at a drugstore. She finally got a prescription medicine from her doctor. It helped a lot, but not today.
Devin, what are you doing? Hide me. Why?
All right, give me a big smile. Come on, big, bigger. Okay, great. Say cheese.
Sure, I teased Devin about that picture, but I really understood her feelings. One day, you'd feel like you were on top of the world. The next day, the pits. It seemed like I was always worrying about how I looked. What I said. Was I cool enough?
Okay, that's it. Everybody hit the shower.
Are you okay? Sure? I gotta go. We gotta finish.
What's the matter, honey? You feeling okay?
Yeah.
It's a little off.
Yeah, Allison, look at your t-shirt. Ew, I never used to sweat like this before. Ugh, I never used to smell like this before. Gross! You smell!
At least I didn't smell as bad as Devin. Anyway, not yet. But I would soon enough. What I learned later was that there are sweat glands all over our bodies that produce perspiration to help keep us cool. Then when we hit puberty, a different kind of sweat gland begins to work. They're concentrated in a few places, especially under the arms. These glands can have a pretty nasty odor. We all finally got used to it, taking more showers and changing clothes more often. Those new glands also started to make me sweat when I was tense or nervous. Like, for instance,
Guys, what's the matter? I think I'm bleeding. Down there. Congratulations, kid. You just got your period. I don't think I'm ready for this. I am. What are you doing with that? I thought you hadn't got yours yet. Well, I haven't. But when I do, I'll be ready. I've been keeping those napkins in my locker for the past 6 months, just in case. Does this mean I can't play soccer this week? Of course not. I still play soccer, don't I? And I've had mine for almost a year.
my life was changing all right. And this is where all those changes were beginning, here at the base of the brain. There's this gland called the pituitary that acts like kind of a growth clock that tells a girl's body it's time for her to start becoming a woman. It sends out a hormone that causes the reproductive organs to develop. As the ovaries grow, they begin to produce other hormones. It's these new hormones that bring about all those strange new changes in a girl's body during the next years, like developing breasts, more body hair, especially under the arms and in the pubic region, broader hips. These changes, when they began happening to me, were strange enough. But the most confusing changes were the changes in my feelings.
Did you drop these?
I shouldn't have been embarrassed about it, but it all seemed so new.
No, I could see my grandson in that. Or my granddaughter in that, whatever it happens to be. You never know.
Allison, honey, guess who's here?
Princess, hi, Joel.
Hi. Look at the darling little dress your Aunt Helen sent your sister for the baby.
You're just in time, sweetie. Joel and I are going to go out for pizza.
I don't really feel like it tonight, Dad.
What? The bottomless pit doesn't feel like pizza?
I guess I'm not really hungry.
Sometimes woman, sometimes girl. Which one was I?
What's happening to me?
Deep inside my body, a lot of things were happening. My reproductive organs were changing and maturing. The parts of the body's surface are the labia and the inner labia. The hymen, a ring of tissue that in most girls partly covers the entrance to the vagina. And there's the clitoris, a small, highly sensitive organ. This opening is the urethra, the tube that carries the urine, but it's not part of the reproductive system. The vagina is the canal that leads to the actual organs of reproduction. These are the uterus, or womb, the fallopian tubes, and the ovaries. Hormones cause thousands of eggs, or ova, to develop in the ovaries. About once a month, one of them is released into a fallopian tube. When it's not fertilized, it only lives for a day or so. But meanwhile, the walls of the uterus are getting ready to receive and nourish the egg, if it should be fertilized. The lining gets thicker and the blood supply increases. When the egg isn't fertilized, the extra lining flows out of the body along with some blood. This is menstruation, or getting your period. It usually lasts from 3 days to a week, or even more. Menstrual, or monthly periods, usually happen about every 4 weeks. But they're likely to be quite irregular for the first 2 or 3 years while a girl is still maturing. And later, a cycle of 5 weeks or of 3 weeks is perfectly normal. This cycle, the menstrual cycle, is nature's way of repeatedly preparing the uterus for bearing a baby.
Allie, are you okay? I got it today. Just don't make a big deal about it, all right? I haven't even told Mom yet. And don't you go telling me that this is the beautiful part of becoming a woman. That's the line Miss Nesbitt used in health class. It just seems messy to me.
Okay, I admit it's not a trip to Disneyland, but look at it this way. If it weren't for this beautiful experience of menstruation, I wouldn't be getting these hideous baby dresses from Aunt Helen.
But what about cramps?
Well, I used to get cramps too, but getting enough rest and exercise and eating a balanced diet usually took care of it.
So this balanced diet you're talking about, does it include pizza?
Yes.
sister's back from her date. And he's making his move. He's putting his arm around her. He's chickened out. It's all over. No, wait. He's leaning toward her. She's leaning toward him. And contact. Yes, it's a kiss. Gross. Who'd want to kiss my sister? What are you supposed to do if a boy wants to kiss you? Oh, Allison, don't you go to the movies or anything? I feel, stupid or something. Everybody else seems to know everything that's going on except me.
I've got news for you. Brenda and Devin probably don't know a whole lot more about what's going on than you do.
Lately, I've been getting these funny feelings in my body. But it's usually when I think about boys.
Of course you do. That's normal. Everybody does sooner or later. Look, everybody has questions about growing up, and that means the boys too. The boys are just as confused as you are about the changes and the feelings that they're having in their bodies. That day, for the first time, I got some idea of how a boy's body works. My sister explained about the penis and the testicles. And how from each testicle, a duct leads into the body, where it joins another tube, the urethra, leading from the bladder through the penis. Each testicle is packed with tubes. The walls of these tubes are lined with special cells. When a boy reaches adolescence, the cells begin to grow and develop into the male sex cells called spermatozoa, sperm for short. Millions of sperm are developing constantly along the tubes inside the testicles. The sperm are moved along, filling other coiled tubes and the duct leading into the body. A special fluid mixes with the sperm as it passes, forming a milky white fluid called semen. In preparation for passing the sperm, the penis gets congested with blood and becomes erect. Then muscular contractions force the semen into the urethra and out of the body. That's nature's way of passing the male sperm into the female vagina during sexual intercourse. Once the sperm enter the vagina, they swim up through the uterus into the fallopian tubes. It's even quite possible for sperm deposited just outside the vagina to swim in and fertilize an ovum. If there are sperm in the tubes when the egg is released, one of the sperm may enter and fertilize it. During the next few days, the one cell becomes 2, then 4, 8, 16. Within a week, still dividing, the tiny cluster has reached the uterus. It embeds itself in the soft lining. Growth begins.
And then in 9 months? That can't mean that the boys and girls in my class could be having babies already.
Technically they can, but it doesn't mean that because kids are physically able to have babies that they're ready yet, emotionally, for being parents or having sex. That takes maturity, and that takes time. All this growing up stuff was a lot to adjust to. I knew there was a lot more I still needed to learn about myself and how I fit into the world around me. But in the meantime, my friends and I had a lot of time left to enjoy just being kids.
Allison, come on! Allison, come on, Allison!
We weren't in any hurry. We get used to the changes. In time.
I don't know. Hey!
You know what? I had a lot of fun during grammar school and junior high. That's where I made most of my best friends. Okay, so maybe I was kind of short and kind of a geek, but you know what? I got taller, just like you will. And I'm glad I learned about sex the right way, with the right information, just like you're doing now. Anyway, I've got to finish my homework. If I don't get this paper done, there's no way I'm going to see a movie with Michael this weekend. Bye.
I hope this video has given you a better understanding of what to expect over the next few years. But before we wrap up the program, let me add one more thing. We'll call it the general order of events in the growth of girls as you go through puberty. First, you can expect your breast buds to begin growing, and then you'll begin to see pubic hairs growing. Next, you'll have a growth spurt and begin to get taller, usually before the boys do. Then you'll see underarm hair. And last, you can expect your first period, which is usually about 2 years after your breast buds begin to grow. Now that you have accurate information from this program, you should have a better understanding of what's true and what's not true. I think you know that kids can sometimes spread some pretty wild rumors about sex and everything connected with it. Hopefully, now you'll be able to tell the difference between fact and fiction. But don't forget that it's perfectly okay to ask questions if you're not sure about something. You have lots of knowledgeable and trustworthy adults who can help you. Again, I'm talking about people like your mom or dad, your doctor, or your school counselor. We're here for you. We've all been through it, and we'll do anything we can to make your transition from girl to woman a little easier.
There's a new face in the mirror. I guess she's here to stay a while. A world of wonder lies behind her eyes. I'm beginning to like her style. Change is surrounding me. There's a stranger in the mirror, a stranger in the mirror, strange as it seems to be. The stranger in the mirror is me.
Okay, we're back. I just want to take a few minutes to discuss some of the things that you learned from the movie and just kind of go over some of the changes that your body is going to be going through. Between the ages of 9 and 12, your height and weight will increase rapidly. Breast buds will appear and nipples will become more raised and maybe tender at times. This is perfectly normal, and it's a time to start wearing a bra. Fine straight hair will appear in the private area and under your arms. Perspiration or sweat changes in the amount and the odor. You may need to start taking a bath or shower every day and putting on deodorant. Your hair will become oilier, and you might also develop a scaly scalp. This is called dandruff. It will be important to wash your hair at least once or twice a week. Your face may become oilier too. As a result, you may develop pimples on your face. This is called acne. Washing your face gently with soap and water twice a day will help. Don't squeeze or pop your pimples, as this can lead to infection and scarring. At age 12 to 15, more changes occur. Your height and weight will continue to increase. Breasts will become fuller. Pubic hair will become darker, thicker, and curlier. The hair on your legs and under your arms will get thicker too. You may want to start shaving at this time. Make sure you ask your parents first, get your own razor, and get their help to get started. Your hips will widen, your waist will become smaller. You may secrete from time to time some clear whitish fluid from the vagina. This means that your period is probably going to start within the next 6 months. Girls can start their period as early as 9 years old and as late as 15 years old, but on average, most girls start their period around 12. Everyone's biological clock is different. Your period will start when your body is ready. Sometimes moods become unpredictable. Some days you may feel like you're on top of the world, and the next day you feel down. Feelings about people and issues become stronger and deeper. Deductive reasoning develops. You will have your own opinions about things. Remember to listen as well as speak. Last but not least, new sexual feelings will begin to surface. Now I'd like to take just a few minutes to discuss some of the questions that girls have asked me in the past. I wish I was there in the room with you so that you could ask me directly, but this is the best I could do during these times. Why does a girl have to go through puberty is a question I'm often asked. All the changes you experience during puberty are to prepare you for your body to reproduce and have a baby one day. That's why we go through puberty. Girls often ask, what is a period? A period is when you shed tissue and fluid and blood from the uterus each month. Each month, a soft lining of tissue thickens the inside of the uterus. If you become pregnant, the lining is used to nourish the baby. If there is no pregnancy, then the lining is not needed and it's shed by the body and it comes out in the form of a period. This is called menstruation. And it's a perfectly normal sign of normal body health. How long do periods last? Well, periods last from 3 to 7 days. When you first start having a period, it may be just as short as 3 days, but as you become older, your periods will become longer and they'll last 7 days on average. A lot of girls ask, will it hurt when I have my period? Usually not. Some women hardly notice any discomfort at all. Others might have cramps. A cramp is an ache in your lower abdomen, sometimes in your back and sometimes in your thighs. Period cramps are nothing to worry about. They're a normal part of having periods. Some ways of easing cramps are to take a warm bath, use mild exercise, maybe put a heating pad on your lower abdomen. If you do want to take a medication for period cramps, please ask your parents first. There's Tylenol, Advil, and Midol. One of the concerns that girls have is, what if I start my period at school? Virtually all girls are surprised by their first period, and subsequent periods sometimes too. It happens to all of us. It's a good idea to carry a pad and a clean pair of underwear in your backpack just in case. If you don't have a pad, it's okay to use some rolled up toilet paper just until you can get a pad. If you need a pad, you can ask a friend, a teacher, the school nurse can help. No one will mind. Like I said, it's happened to all of us. Will I always have periods? All women have periods from puberty until they're about 50 years old. At about this age, women's bodies go through another change called menopause. At this time, the ovaries stop releasing eggs and the menstrual cycle stops. The only other time you will not have a period is when you become pregnant. Then instead of leaving your body through the vagina, the lining of the uterus stays where it is to help grow and nourish the baby as it develops. Will I lose much blood when I have my period? The amount of blood in menstruation fluid varies from woman to woman and from day to day during the period. The period usually ends quite lightly, with most menstrual fluid being lost in the first few days. You lose about 4 to 12 teaspoons of menstrual fluid during your period. It might look like a lot, but it's not as much as you think. Your body has 5 quarts of blood, so it does not miss the little bit you lose during your period, and it quickly makes more. What do I do with my pad? Well, after you've used a pad, you roll it up, wrap it in toilet paper, and you put it in the trash can in the girls' bathroom. Most girls' bathrooms have a special wastebasket right between the stalls, and that's where you put it. Never, never, never flush the pad down the toilet. Will anybody notice if I'm having my period? Nope, nobody will notice unless you tell them. Is there anything I will not be able to do when I have my period? Nope. Having periods is normal and a healthy part of being a woman. It does not stop you from doing anything you want to do. You can still go to school, you can help at home, you can see your friends, you can play sports, whatever you want to do. If you want to go swimming, you can use a tampon. It is okay to take a bath or shower. Is it okay to take a bath or shower when I'm having my period? By all means, it's a very important time for you to take a bath or a shower to keep yourself fresh and clean. Now, what do I do if I have more questions after today? Well, you can speak to your mom, your dad, an older person such as an aunt or a sister, or maybe a friend's mom. You can even talk to Nurse Harris. She knows everything. Thank you for listening, and you will get through with this, and I look forward to seeing you along the way. Bye.